Don't ever let people convince you to not leave your partner who's abusive simply because there's an assumption that this person provides. The problem with that kind of mentality, and a lot of people call it poverty spec mentality, which I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't want to put things out there. I'm not saying I agree with it. It's what it's called out there, like poverty spec, right? Here's my chat. All that glitters is not gold, right? And you guys know what I always give a personal story. Like if I'm gonna give, make a statement like this, I'm gonna give a personal story, right? Not all that glitters is gold. I remember when I was going through my divorce, people were like, "Oh, that's a good man, Savannah. He works so hard, he's a provider. You can't leave a man who provides. Other men are deadbeats, and on top of that, they are broke." And people like to assume things they don't know. Let me tell you, right? And I just thought of it because someone once said, "Yeah, but at least he pays the bills." Why are we assuming that he pays my bills? Why are we assuming that people are providers? Tell you a short story. I bought a car in 2023. At the time, I was still working at PwC, and I remember they asked us. I was fully remote, and then they changed the rules, and they asked us to please come in at least twice a week. At the time, my old car had broken down, and I had to obviously go buy a new car. I remember my ex-husband said something to me, right? And when my parents heard the story, my parents were just so shattered, and they were like, "Bruv, you should have hit us up. We would have been there." This dude says to me, "I don't care what car you buy, as long as I don't have to pay for it, and I don't have to contribute a cent towards it. Sort it out. Do whatever." And I did. My brother went with me. My big brother went with me, helped me pick the car. I don't know anything about cars, guys. Now I just needed to be in D4 drive. I just wanted an automatic. Anyway, my brother went with me, sorted that out. I'll post a picture. And I think the day I went to go fetch my car, dude drove in, and then he's like, "Oh, congratulations, I see your car came. Happy for you." I'm like, "Thanks." And that's it, we moved on. So a lot of people, thought that there was a whole lot of gold and silver, which there was none. For me, there was none. I'm not speaking ill of anyone. I'm just saying that the aunties and whatever would be like, "Oh, he's a good man, Savannah, he pays bills." Don't assume. Even when we separated, I took nothing from my situation. I left everything behind because God told me to. God was like, "I will give you everything and more." I literally took nothing but the clothes on my back because I don't ever want a person to be able to control me, to say, "Let's come on today, I drive a C-class skin." No. God was like, "Leave everything, I will provide for you." And keep in mind, when all of that happened, I wasn't working at Deloitte anymore. I had resigned. All of that. And God provided, guys. There's never been a month I've been without my medical aid. There's never been a month where I haven't been able to pay my car, my insurance. God has provided. So don't let people tell you to stay in a situation because they think that it's gold and glitter. A lot of times, those situations where it looks like people are happy and they being provided for, you guys don't know. There's women I've literally sat down and spoken to, and they've literally told me how to bro. It looks all sweet and nice from the outside, but see, when it comes to abuse, guys, controlling partners, nothing is as it seems. Because the thing about it is, women in those situations want to protect their partners, right? And by the time those women come out, they want to protect their partner's dignity. By the time they come out, people don't believe them. "Yeah, but you were sitting in a Range Rover." Doesn't mean that he wasn't beating me. Doesn't mean that he wasn't psychologically abusive. It doesn't mean that financially he wasn't abusive. Just because I was sitting in a Range Rover, you think that I have less problems? Yes, I have heated steering wheel and heated seats, but it doesn't mean that this person wasn't belittling me every single day. We really need to open our minds. There's no linear way in which abuse happens. We need to free up. Pastor Eric from 2819 once said something along these lines. Anyway, he said something along these lines. With dysfunction, you withdraw because you don't want anyone to notice. You won't post that you're in pieces, and that's why abusers thrive. The devil keeps you bonded, right? So you need to shed light on that dysfunction in order for it to not continue. And because victims normally don't want to shed light on these situations, what abusers do is they go and find new victims. They don't change. They go find new victims. Okay. Bye. Oh, yeah. And by the way, there's no excuse for abuse ever.